Thank you very much. Let me all be seated down. Next on our list, introduction of many of the processes by the assistant registrar.
We have Professor Bob announcement, the Dean of the School of Postgraduate Studies. We have Mr. Paul Oghara, the boss of the university. We have Dr. Oghara, the Inaugural heading the university library. And of course, the Vice Chancellor of this university, Professor Augustine Ikele.
Thank you very much. Our team, on our list here is introduction guests by introduction guests. So I want to have some personalities here present to this occasion that I want to introduce. We have we have more ladies who are here to celebrate person who is giving the lecture today. On my list here is young academics. We have OGPA, we have Nancy, we have Elia, we have Akili, we have Ako, Uwa, we have Matthew, and John Josiah. So you are all welcome to this very important occasion. Thank you. Next, Vice Chancellor Solomon Remarks.
Western Territory Professor member of the Governing Council, Honorable representative of Professor General and member of the Governing Council. I appreciate for being here with us. President of Western Territory University, deans of colleges, directors, and heads departments and units in Western Territory University, members of Senate, distinguished heads and staff of partner institutions here present, friends, invited guests, and members of our communities. The distinguished inaugural lecturer, family and friends of the inaugural lecturer, as of our former principal and other officers here, former deputy registrar, Mr. Sasane. I think I've seen some others also. Let me stop there for a while. I want to present a short address what I've titled the University, the Professor, and the Inaugural Lecture. The University, the Professor, and the Inaugural Lecture. The flag officer commanding the Nigerian Navy Logistics Command, Mr. Partner Institution, Prayer and you are welcome. The university is a self-governing institution of highest learning, awarding high degrees and committed to the pursuit of education and knowledge. It is a community of scholars, students who want to learn, and teachers who have attained their positions by virtue of educational, intellectual, and scholarly attainments. The ontological origin of the university is the Latin word universitas magistratum et scholarum, which means community of teachers and scholars. A university is expected to develop and apply scholarly expertise and research to address the needs and challenges of society and to the benefits of humanity. This is the origin of the town and gown concept. As the highest educational institution and as part of its promotion and reward of knowledge and expertise, the university has a system of staff progression and reward for academics and researchers. A professor is the highest rank of an academic in the university or research institute. It is a rare appointment based on established academic and scholarly reputation and recognition. It signifies progress and achievement in knowledge contribution and learning, intellectual development, scholarly achievements and teaching, which has warranted an award, promotion, and or appointment to that position for a particular discipline or sub-discipline in the university. An inaugural lecture is an avenue to announce a professor's stature and achievements, to detail his contributions to scholarship and knowledge, and to engage the community by ways of an outstanding outing that sometimes details research outcomes across the academic journey. Usually given by the professor in the first years of his appointment, it is an occasion to celebrate. It is also an occasion to announce to the community a professor's prowess and what has made him a professor. It's an opportunity for the professor to profess his discipline, area of specialization, and research interest. It is an important moment in the life of an academic, and even particular disciplines and the university itself. The lecture itself is a major contribution, providing reasoned, critical, and great insights, arguments, and conclusions, and deep knowledge and outcomes of innovative researches. It teases out what can be profound pieces of germane contributions to outstanding controversies, contestations, and debates. But the inaugural lecture is also an opportunity for the university to showcase itself and its traditions, what academics and scholarship is, and to celebrate its very best to the university and the community. For us, the Western Delta University, we have an opportunity to appoint professors, and we have tens of good academics and scholars with demonstrated research and intellectual output who are aspiring to be promoted in the rank of professor. This, however, is our first outing in the inaugural lecture series. Though coming late, after almost 15 years of existence, it is a way of demonstrating that we have come of age. As I salute Professor Emmanuel Oghara for blazing the trail among our homegrown professors. It takes courage and strength to start a lecture series. He has taken on the challenge of setting the pace and has demonstrated courage and accepted to navigate the emerging routes and the details and of learning the ropes of the processes involved. In doing so, he has made a name for himself. In the history of Western Delta University, his name will always come up, not only as the first set of homebred professorial appointees, but also as the first to chart the distinguished path and landmark of University Guest Inaugural Lecture. I welcome our distinguished students who now have the opportunity to witness and experience an inaugural lecture, which is one of the great traditions of a university. I welcome all our staff who are witnessing this today and who hopefully should be challenged to follow the honored and distinguished path of the hard work to professorship. I must state that it is good to be a professor. The recognition and honor from the title is good, particularly when the professor has distinguished himself in knowledge contribution and impact on society. I can tell you that myself, having carried the title for about 17 years. We are making progress in multiple fronts in Western Delta University. We are expanding academic programs and enrollment, creating a clean and beautiful environment, maintaining and improving on facilities services, strengthening the capacity of staff, and enhancing total quality and pedagogy. More importantly, we are transforming and reforming the university to greater visibility, ranking, competitive edge, and sustainable progress. We have demonstrated our commitment to expansion through the HND BSc Conversion Program, postgraduate programs, and new degree programs in the College of Applied Health Sciences and even the College of Social and Management Sciences. Today we have tens of students, many students in the College of Postgraduate Studies and in the Conversion Program. We have started admitting students to the College of Applied Health Sciences in Nursing Science and Medical Laboratory Science. We seek support and contributions of stakeholders, partners, and friends as we reconfigure, transform, and reform to become better, bigger, stronger, and greater, to ascend to platforms where we can compete among the best in terms of academic, intellectual, scholarly, digital, and pedagogical quality, competence, and excellence, as well as produce the best graduates with competence, expertise, and character to change the world. Commencing the inaugural lecture series is a step in this direction of accelerating progress of this great university. I want to welcome our friends, our partners, members of the Governing Council, our stakeholders to this university. The chairman of the local government, FU West local government, has just come in. You will be introduced. You will be introduced. You are welcome, sir. I also want to welcome the friends and family of the inaugural lecturer. I see you in the front row. You are welcome. I want to appreciate our staff and students who have filled up this hall. And I want to thank you all for the sacrifice and goodwill that you have demonstrated. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now have a citation of the lecturer. This will be done by Dr. Michael Abba. Dr. Michael Abba, please.
Standing on the existing protocol, the ideas of margin has come from Western University, but in this case, it's too late when not to have this university. In fact, as it is written in the scripture, God once asked, who shall I send? That was the same question that our vice chancellor asked. And Professor Emmanuel Oghara made himself available. Say, here am I, send me. Again, in Western University, we may not be the first, but surely we are not behind. Because everything in nature has its own place. For instance, we all know that the giraffe is taller than the baboon. The baboon is taller than the monkey. The monkey, in turn, is taller than the tortoise. The tortoise is taller than the snail. The snail is taller than the grasshopper. The grasshopper is taller than the ant. The ant, in turn, is taller than the ground. So where is our place? Shimashebe reminded me when he said, in those days, when he said, we were sleeping in ones and in twos, the whole force assembled and chose me to carry their debate. I said unto them, who am I to carry this fire on my bed? A man who knows his handles is small does not swallow along with the sea. He said unto me, fear not, for a man who sends his child to wash a shoe must give him water to wash his hands. And that water is what the Vice Chancellor has provided for Professor Oghara. Mr. Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Oghara responded to us, I am tied to a stake I cannot fly, but bare life I will fight the cause. That is why he's here before us. The citation of Professor Oghara. Professor Oghara teaches industrial sociology and statistics at the Department of Political Science and Sociology of the Western Delta University, Oghara, Delta State, Nigeria. He was born into the family of late Mr. Gabriel and late Mrs. Victoria Oghara. He started his educational journey at Oghara Primary School, where he got his first living certificate in 1980. From there, he proceeded to the prestigious Immaculate Conception College, ICC, which was the dream college of every young man back then in Benin City, where he served for West African Preservation Council in 1985. He started his educational career quite early. In 1988, he got his first teaching job before he was employed by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing in 1989 as a general laborer. He was converted to a clerical officer in 1990 and was promoted in senior clerical officer in 1993 after passing the combined and confirmation examinations with distinctions. He was promoted to the position of an assistant executive officer, accounts, in 1995. It was during this period he worked in the office of the Honorable Minister of Works and Housing as a personal assistant. His quest to excel, pressure from relatives and friends, made him seek and get admission at the University of Benin City, where he obtained a diploma in social work in 1996. Shortly after that, he gained admission to a degree program to study sociology and anthropology and graduated in the year 2000 with BSc in September 2005. He again attained his MSc in industrial sociology and labor relations, and finally a PhD in industrial sociology and labor relations in March 2015 from the University of Benin. On graduation, he joined the services of Jojo Nigeria Limited in September of 2000 as a human resource officer and was promoted to the rank of senior human resource officer in 2002. In 2005, Professor Oghara and the veteran broadcaster and multi-talented Mr. Tony Abodu established a firm called Leadership Institute, which is a management training and recruitment firm in Benin City. He has been a consultant to several organizations, which include Delta Broadcasting Service, Independent Television, Benin, Delta State House of Assembly Service Commission, Asaba, Edo Transport Line, Benin, Edo State Library Board, Benin, Edo Neighborhood Watch, DAP Nigeria Limited, Freedom Group, and Keflex Group International, Texas, USA. In March 2008, he was appointed as an assistant lecturer at Western Delta University, Oghara, Delta State. In April of 2010, he was promoted to lecturer 2, and in October 2012, he moved to lecturer 1. He served as the pioneer director, Center for Entrepreneurial Development from 2012 to 2014. Lecturer in charge, Department of Political Science and Sociology from October to December 2010. College Timetable Officer 2008 to 2014. College Examination Officer 2008 to 2014. Chairman Students Draft Committee 2014 to 2015. Chairman Publicity Subcommittee under Stakeholder Forum Committee in 2014. Member Movement to Permanent Site Committee 2014. Member LOC Nigeria Private University Games Oghara 2011 and member of Senate 2010 to 2014. In March 2016, he joined Edo University in Yamo, now Edo State University, Unsavory, Edo State, as senior lecturer. At Edo University, he served as the pioneer dean of student affairs 2016 to 2017. Chairman of various committees such as the orientation, matriculation, public lectures, and the presidential visits. In 2017, he returned to Western Delta University and served in the following capacities: Head Sociology Unit 2021, Director Center for Online Studies 2020 to date, Acting Head of Department Management Sciences, Business Administration 2019 to 2020. Chairman, Students Draft Committee 2018 to 2020. Chairman, Committee on Open Educational Resources 2019. Secretary, University Research and Publication Committee 2018 and Senate Member 2018 to date. Professor Emmanuel Oghara has supervised 5 postgraduate theses and published over 40 academic journals articles. Also published in books and several chapters in books of reading. He is currently the editor-in-chief of 2 academic journals and also the external examiner to a private university. He is a member of some professional bodies such as the Nigerian Institute of Management and Nigerian Sociological and Anthropological Society. Professor Oghara is married and blessed with children. Mr. Vice Chancellor, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Professor Oghara.
Taking a citation of Professor Oghara. Please a round of applause for him. Please, at this point in time, we want to especially invite to the podium guest lecturer, President of Professor Emmanuel Oghara, to deliver his lecture.
Standing on the existing protocol, Vice Chancellor, sir, Pro Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, members, principal, staff, our invited guests from the Navy and other sister institutions. It's my pleasure to present to you my inaugural lecture entitled Man, Work and Comfort, the Search for Solution. Unsavory, yet necessary triad relationship. But before I do that, I need to give some commendation to individuals. I appreciate some persons who have, in one way or another, contributed towards my work. First, I'm dedicating this work to the Almighty God, Jehovah, made it possible for me to be here. Without Him, it is not possible. So I want to thank Him for giving me the strength to be able to stand before this large audience today and to deliver this lecture. I want to also thank my wife, Mrs. Blessed Oghara, and my children for the sacrifices they have made all this while we have been on this journey of getting to where I am today. If you want to realize the work of this nature, it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of power, it takes a lot of work. And I need to also acknowledge some other fine persons here. One of them is Dr. Ezekiel Sube. He's not here today. He was the one that made inquiry about diploma in social work and said, Mr. Oghara, you must go back to school. Let me go find out from the University of Benin about diploma in social work. And he did that. And that is why I started my institutional career. So I want to thank you very much. I must also thank Dr. Mrs. Priye George, who is present here this afternoon, for her insistence that you must go back to school. And those advice I listened to, I went back to school. Then I must also say thank you very much, Professor Austin Kelly, the Vice Chancellor, my amiable Vice Chancellor. His quest for excellence has culminated into his lecture today. He has a dream of lifting Western Delta University to an able state. And that is why he has always said we must deliver lectures, which has led to this lecture being delivered today. Thank you, sir, Bush. Thank you, sir, for the encouragement. Thank you, sir, for making us work hard in Western Delta University. And thank you to Professor C.F. Okolocha, who was my supervisor in my PhD days. He did a lot of work. I want to commend him for that. Professor K.U. Omoyibo for his support. Professor S.K. Omorope of AAU for his valuable contributions to this work we have today. Others are Professor Loki Owasa, Professor Inaugural, Professor Gafuda, Professor Dama. I want to say thank you for all what you have done. How can I forget Professor Austin Dokwesi? Thank you so much for what you have done, for giving me so much assistance in this work that is completed today. My friends, Reverend Harry Osande, Mr. Henry Okunewa, Mr. Agbeli and others, thank you so much for what you have done. How can I forget Professor H.P. Muko, the Panel Vice Chancellor of Western Delta University, Professor Mrs. Cecilia Okobia, immediate Vice Chancellor, my seniors, Professor Libre, Professor Eswe, well done, sir. My colleagues, Professor Okoro, Professor Okato, and Dr. Igbe, Professor Akotari, and others. Thank you very much, sir, for your push. Then, these two ladies must be commended. Mrs. Linda Ambrose, thank you very much for going through this work and making valuable corrections. Thank you also, Mrs. Rex Lirekwa, for doing the same thing. I must appreciate my other friends like Dr. Garuba, who is seated here today, Dr. Charles Larry, Dr. Loki Odia, Professor Mike Bizibe, who was one of the bigger brothers that refrained to me, Dr. Ejaifi, and my friend Tony Apollo, commonly known as T. Thank you. Finally, the Oghara family must not be left out. They have done a great job on this person who is here tonight. They must be commended. I must first commend Engineer John Oghara, who has been piloting the affairs of the family since we lost our father some years back. Thank you, sir, and thank you for embracing this situation. Then I must also commend my siblings. Oghara, my lovely sisters, Mrs. Sandra Gary, Mrs. Ike, Fatima, Ruth Aibini, Glory Mabufuru, Bob Oghara, and my in-laws, Helen, Osadolo, Sarah, Benson, and many others for their waving support, including Grace Bodwin. I cannot thank my wife for her loving care, for the sacrifices she has made, and for the support which has led to this world today. Now let's go to the piano. After attending my first convocation ceremony at the University of Benin, my father had hurried down to his friend's house, which was a stone throw for me, to inform me that his second son had just graduated. His friend curiously asked him, what degree did he acquire? And my father said, proudly, BSc Sociology and Anthropology. He smiled and said, Mr. Oghara, you do not have a graduate in your house. A first degree is not regarded as graduates. If your son wants to make it in life and grow in academics, he has to go to the end. If you get a PhD, Mr. Oghara, come back and tell me that you have a PhD holder in your house, then I will celebrate it. My father said he became jackpot. It was like cold water was poured on him. Here he stipulated that his son has a degree, and he's being told that that's not a degree. So he walked down to the house and said, I said, sir. He said, what will it take you to get the PhD? I explained to him the process, and he said, I will support you. And he did support me till I got my PhD. Unfortunately, he was not there when I was having the oral defense. Or I wish he was there to have witnessed that his son finally had a PhD and eventually became a professor. Let me take you back to 2021. On assumption of office, my amiable Vice Chancellor, Professor Austin Kelly, had insisted that all hands must be on deck in moving Western Delta forward. In doing this, he said we must continue to have a lot of academic activities, which include lectures, inaugural lectures, seminars, webinars, workshops. These inaugural lectures falls within that scope. That is why I must say thank you, because they were to push us, and here we are with that inaugural lecture. Now, when I started writing, when I came into the academics, my wife once asked me, Olomel, I said yes. When will all these late nights of reading and researching stop? Because since I married you, you have been writing one exam or the other, reading, writing. In fact, my second semester exam had to be postponed because it fell on my traditional marriage day, my first degree. So she said, when will you stop? I calmly told her that when I become a professor, I will stop the reading. And when I was appointed a professor, she approached me one evening on the meeting and said, you said it will stop, now you are a professor. You are still writing, you are still reading. I said, well, I need to contribute to knowledge. He said, that means you will never stop. I started my field of research into medical sociology, but later advanced into industrial. That was because of the interest I had on the conflict that would happen in the workplace. Because of the management and training organization we had, myself 2 years ago, we had a lot of conflicts, crises at the workplace often. And I've always wondered why these crises have always ensued in the workplace. And that takes us to this title today that says, Man, Work and Conflict. The search for solution through unsavory yet necessary triad relationship. Now, if you look at it, when we say man, work and conflict, what do we mean? Whenever you have man, you must have work. As long as men are in constant proximity, talk to one another, you must have work. And when you have work, as long as people from diverse background, from diverse upbringing, work in close proximity, then you are going to have conflict. The only way you can avoid conflict, like I say, is to live in unity. Why? Because the dead do not quarrel among themselves. So you must be dead and go and live in the graveyard if you want to avoid conflict. So conflict itself is something natural that will always happen as long as people interact with one another. So when conflict exists, there must be effort, concerted effort to ensure that solution is sought towards that conflict. Why? Failure to do that is dangerous to all. It can lead to a breakdown of love of other men. And if care is not taken, this crisis can go beyond the immediate environment of the workplace. So when there's a crisis, you must solve solutions to that crisis. And just to solve solutions to the crisis, one, you can follow the existing established mechanism, or you look for alternative resolution mechanism that to solve such crisis or conflict. Now, there's an established mechanism in industrial relations in Nigeria that is known as tripartism. Now, tripartism is the process whereby all the actors in the industrial relations system, they are independent. Not only are they independent, they are supposed to be equal partners. And they are supposed to consult with each other on labor matters, on anything that has to do with competence, and they must strongly formulate policies that will move that sector forward. These are the actors in that industrial relation. I refer to them as the musketeers, the three of them, which are government, management, and the unions. These three make up the actors who actively take part in industrial relation mechanism of resolving crises. Now, when we say government, we refer to government and government agencies, government officials, all of them falls within government. When we say management, we talk about management, middle management, owners of this of production, and then workers refer to workers union and pressure groups. So these three actors form that tripartism that we're talking about. Now, the tripartism does not work. Does it work? Or Dickie explains that in essence, it does not really exist. It is more of a theoretical explanation of what is happening. Because the government, for example, does not consult with other parties in industrial relations to find out their own trust. And other parties do not trust government when it comes to industrial relations. So they are not willing to submit themselves to the process. That is why it is more of an academic work than a reality. Because it does not work. The parties are never equal. They are not independent and they don't have no strength. And some tend to be stronger than other members of that group. Now we'll talk about unions. What are unions and why are they formed? Unions enable employers to address their concerns. When they have concerns, they have unions that can press out to management and help to discuss what is bothering them, why they feel that management should listen to them. Now, it's a binding together them as a team. If they form unions, they are able to agitate for their rights. If they are exploited, they can fight against exploitation, against injustice, and also they can also bargain for better working conditions and welfare packages. Union society. Now, when we talk about unions, in Nigeria, for example, have contributed in a not small way to the development of this country. Unions not only in Nigeria, not only fight for their interests, they also fight for the interest of the common man. In fact, in 1946, when Nigerians were going for independence talk or struggle in London, a union activist was selected to be among them. And ever since then, the organized labor has always stood up for the voiceless. If you still remember what happened in 1994, when the unions called out for strike against the amendment of June 12 election, we saw what happened. Almost all the unions in Nigeria were on strike to protest it. In fact, another example again has to do with 2007, when the government of Obasanjo was about leaving, a they sold the refineries, and went on strike to demand for revert of that sales, and also demand to revert the VAT rate from 10% back to 5%. So unions have contributed in no small way to Nigeria, and they've also contributed to the struggle of the common man. The need for management. Well, management is needed in that framework. Why? Because they provide that environment that is conducive for workers to work. And they also provide incentives to workers. What is more? They can negotiate with workers. Because if there are no unions, it will be difficult for the management to talk to the home workers. But with unions, management can talk to union leaders, and this can reach out to their workers. So management serves as a link between workers and government. What about government? The government is needed in that space. Why? It needs to provide the enabling environment so that the relationship between workers and management can exist. It's also there to intervene, to regulate. Because when government does not intervene, like enacting laws that will regulate the industrial relations system, chaos. And it's expected to also provide minimum standard living for people. So when the government does all of this, it becomes a bit easier for the other parties in the industrial relations system to work. Now, my topic says it's an unsavory triad relationship. Why do we say society? Well, the state, when the state normally intervenes, it takes form of what we call the big stick. They deal with unions they refer to as rest. As for example, government ought to be an umpire in the industrial relations system. But are they? It is difficult. Government is the largest employer, single largest employer of labor. So how can they bring out laws, enact laws that is not available to them? Is it possible? No. So government find it difficult to serve that role as an umpire and at the same time an employer. So we see this contracting role, and that itself has given it a lot of problems. And that is why we say society. Now government has more power than the other two members of the industrial relations system, namely management and governance. And what does government do? They wage that power whenever they can. You see outside of ban of unions. You see them, union leaders are either arrested or threatened to submit, forced to submit. And this has always happened the case. Because of that, it has led to distrust. There's no more trust in the system. But over the years, I've tried to decentralize unions. They come with one policy that this ABC of TY unions should belong to this YZ of unions. By so doing, decentralizing unions, they are reducing the powers of each of these unions. And at times they say certain unions cannot affiliate with certain central bodies. Because they know when they affiliate, their numbers swells up and they have that big edge to fight and demand for good conditions. So, for example, the 2005 Act, Trade Union Act, was enacted by the government of General Oghara, says that any worker who partakes in the strike, he or she shall not be entitled to any wage or remuneration for that period of strike. So that itself is to discourage strike and also discourage agitations. Because when workers know that when they go on strike, they will not pay them, they will not likely go on strike. That distrust has also made it in several cases that government has refused to implement reached agreements. You see the case of ASU, agreement that was reached in 2009. This is 2022. We are still talking about the implementation of that agreement. Government agencies sometimes will insist that when agreements are reached, you bring them to the Federal Ministry of Labour and Productivity, where it is registered, and then they will now interpret that law or agreement to you. And of course, you know what the interpretation will be. Then there's this act of dribbling unions on agreement. refusal of union themselves to submit themselves to the process. Since they find that the process is no longer working, unions will not refuse to submit themselves. We see cases where a court order is given. In that government or union, you refuse to obey such order. That is the distrust. That is unsavory nature of industrial relation in Nigeria. You see, this issue of distrust reminds me of a story my mother once told me when we were quite young. He said there was this village. The ladies were not getting married to the young men, so they had so many unmarried people. So what did the king do? The king ordered for a particular day where all the maidens and the bachelors would come to his palace. You can see that picture. When they came, he said, okay, you are here now. The men, pick whoever you like. The women, pick whoever you like. And I pronounce you married. I'll give you money to take care of yourself. I'll give you food stuff to take care of yourself. So they started choosing. At the end of the day, we had just two persons remaining. One was a male who happens to be a thief. No need to use. The second was a female who is also not a thief but a witch. So both of them were remaining. The king looked at them and said, well, there's nothing else. Two of you are married. Oh yeah. So they left. But was it okay for them? No. The thief was afraid. He didn't trust the witch. If I sleep, this witch will kill me. So he refused to sleep. The witch on her own self was scared. If I go to the meeting at the coven, this man will steal my possessions. So I will not sleep, so I don't go to the coven. What happened? They became exhausted. And the two of them eventually died. Why? Because of lack of trust for each other. And I hope that the same faith does not befall the industrial relations system in Nigeria. Because the trust is not there. There is so much distrust today between the actors of the industrial relations system in Nigeria. Now let's look at the industrial relations history in Nigeria. Now the industrial relations history of Nigeria is intertwined with the development of trade unions. We are going to look at it in four angles. First, from the original development of trade unions in pre-colonial times. Then we're going to look at the legal recognition of trade unions in Nigeria. Then the development of trade unions from 1968 to 1998. Then the present disposition from 1999 to the year 2000. Let's take the first one. The origin of trade union development in pre-colonial Nigeria. In colonial Nigeria, we had trade unions, but they were not called trade unions. And a typical example of this is the guild, the mini guild association. They organized people into a form of union. This union was supposed to protect others from coming into their association. These broadcasters in a group beginning had an association where before somebody could be allowed into it, he must be initiated. Now, these individuals protected it. And don't forget that that association was to fight for their rights and also to ensure that as broadcasters, they had the best you can ever think of. We also had the beat makers of Gala Kingdom. We have the weavers of Abiyakuta and so on and so forth. So all of these various associations in pre-colonial Nigeria can be referred to as trade unions. But because there was no law backing them, we couldn't call them trade unions. We say they were associations. They had that true Africanness, the spirit of true Africanness. This is my brother. We belong to the same trade. We should be able to do things together. So trade unions are similar to those deeds of craftsmen and tradesmen back then. But because we were not registered, they will never known as trade unions. Because the act of registered unions only came in 1928. The first type of trade union to appear in Nigeria was in 1912. The Civil Service Union that was formed by a ceremonial. But before that period, in 1897, we had a group of persons known as the Mechanic Mutual Aid Provident and Mutual Improvement Association. Now, these persons formed the union. It was not recognized by the colonial authorities. So in 1897 in August, 3 days, they protested against harsh working conditions. Now these workmen or laborers, as we call them, locked down Lagos for those 3 days. But unfortunately, the government said that was illegal because the no association was registered. So I wonder what auspices are you protesting? Well, let me tell you, the government listened to me. Because the working hours was changed from 7 to 8, from 7 to 7:30 and starting from 7 to close by 5, it was now from 7:30 to 4:30. So did they listen to them? Yes, they did. But they claimed that it will not be accepted. But that union actually existed. So we have this union before the colonial authority approved restitution of unions in 1938. Now the legal restitution of unions started in 1938, like I mentioned, when the British colonial office asked them to open a register for unions to be registered in their colonies. This led to the establishment of the Department of Labour in 1949, and also such unions such as the International Union of Teachers and Railway Workers. Take note, these associations, they already existed. The law only gave legal backing to them to become registered. Now, another thing that led to the growth of unions was the cost of living allowance of 1942. The Second World War was ravaging. The cost was becoming too much of the British government, especially the British government and the British colonies. So what happened? There was inflation. So now we moved from bad to worse. Especially for those who were working in the urban centers. Workers demanded for COLA, which is cost of living allowance. The government immediately approved COLA for the workers. They awarded COLA to them in 1941. And because of this COLA that was awarded, many unions came into existence. Why? Because the award will be given only to unions that are registered. So many unions immediately came into existence and they started there. But in 1945, when the war ended, things were not improving. So the workers again came and demanded for COLA. And the one you gave us in 1941 as the exhausted. If I can no longer live again, we need you to improve our condition. The government refused. This led to a 45 days strike that paralyzed the entire nation. Although the government said it was, they would not accept that strike because according to the government, 2 weeks notice was not given to them. Another event that also encouraged the development of trade unions in Nigeria was a shooting at Ifa Valley in Enugu in 1949. In 1949, there was this coal mine in Ifa Valley, close to Enugu. The miners came and protested about working conditions. The authority called army policemen. When the men came, what did they do? They killed 21 and 50 others were injured. These trade unions, the idea that they need to come together. They need to close ranks so that they can fight against the authorities. And that is what they did. And that led to the establishment of more associations. So between 1938 and 1966, the British Staff Administration was still going on in industrial relations in Nigeria. From 1968 to 1999, in 1967, for example, things changed because the Civil War started. Now you had so much strike, year in, year out. Every organization was going on strike. The government has to promulgate some decrees that will stop strike. One of them even banned strike, that you cannot go on strike. One of them says you must, as a matter of fact, negotiate with your people before you go on strike. Now the trade union 31 of 1973 is very, very important. That was the law that prohibited those in the army, Navy, Air Force, the Nigerian police, prison, custom, printing and meeting company, Central Bank of Nigeria, Nigeria Telecommunication from going on strike. That law says because they are essential duties. And we cannot have a nation being locked down because because they are on strike. 1975 saw a change when Nigeria had its first labor policy. Then 1976 we talked about the organization of unions, and in 1978 the unions were organized into 4 so that they could work better. In the present disposition, what happened? We have the Trade Union Act of 2005, and then not too long before Goodluck left power, he called for the review of labor laws to calm down excessive trade unions. And General Muhammad Buhari was told them that they should give him time to settle down so that he can address their issues. And we hope he's still settling down today. Statement on the problem. There are obvious suspicion among parties in industrial relations. Workers are unsatisfied with the way and processes which works is being managed and the arbitrary structure of salaries. Government has failed to implement collective agreements. Workers feel that government is using undue advantage. It has the power to manipulate the industrial relations system. That itself is not making them happy. The government has been attacked for ineffectiveness in our industrial relations. For example, in 2007 alone, we had 250 industrial actions in Nigeria. 21 industrial actions per month during that year. The 250 industrial actions involved 414,543 workers and a loss of 13,227,957 man-days. Not too long, in 2014, remember the government sacked the entire workforce of 16,000 doctors, resident doctors. Incessant strike of ASU. The recent one that started in February 14, which the ASU executive tagged Valentine's love message to government. And from 1999 to date, for example, ASU has gone on strike for 15 times for refusal to implement agreements. That reminds me of one very popular song by one actor, Oghara. If you hear that, you know that song, it says, if I do this for you, you will do this for you. Waiting with that agreement. Let's listen to it to abstract this, please. Negotiation matters and unions will listen to that song. Some studies have been carried out all within these past years. One was in 2010, in a relationship between workers and management. The study indicates that Nigerian workers in public and private sectors strongly believe that government should reduce our intervention in the industrial relations system of the country. That same study says they have confidence, that workers have confidence in resolving industrial disputes. That's what they are stating. That they do not have confidence, in the process of resolving disputes. The study also showed that workers really prefer to be included in the decision-making process. This was said by 79% of those surveyed. The same study also confirmed that 82% are not happy with the way grievances are managed in the private sector. It takes long period of time for grievances are handled by management. In 2012, the study was carried out, and 64% of companies were having an avenue to complain, especially in the banking industry. 74% believe that the non-operation of trade unions in the bank has led to sharp practices, including unattainable targets, use of staff rights, and loss of job security. Another study in 2015 of the respondents, both public and private, say they do not have confidence in the laid-down procedures for resolving industrial disputes. On the likely causes of crisis in Nigeria, they complain that one is insincerity of government officials. Two, lack of confidence in government process of resolving industrial crisis. Their leaders and the government. Some other people say the demand by workers is true abuse. A research was carried out which was gender-based. We saw that 70% of the males said they agreed that government is unable to manage industrial disputes. But 16% of the females said government is doing well. It shows that gender does affect the perception of workers. Now, regarding research of employers, union leaders, and government, 91.28% of those surveyed believe that non-willing for government or workers to negotiate with government is as a result of government's failure to implement agreement. Because agreements are reached, they are not implemented. So why negotiate them? 70% believe that government will further the interest of the means of production or management. While 70% say that they do not have confidence in their own union leaders. They felt that union leaders are only interested in themselves and they call us strike just to align their pockets. Conclusion. Conflict is inevitable. Solution. We must use this institutionalized process. Despite the separate nature of this relationship, it is necessary. Without this relationship, there will be anarchy in the industrial relations system. The industrialization of Nigeria need not to be desired with goals or what should we do due to lack of trust. So, government must continue to play its role as marketing. Level playing field for all to operate. Unions must play their role to ensure collective bargaining succeeds, and welfare of workers are taken care of. Further in this talk, what other ways of strike can unions adopt to achieve their goal of getting answered by government affairs? That is what I need for others to do. There is need for synergy among the three constituents: the unions, the government, and management. Therefore, recommend that there was need for the structure of the industrial relations system in Nigeria. Government must learn to honor reach agreement. Government should always include all parties before drawing policies. Department of the Ministry of Labour and Productivity should live up to its function by engaging in productive survey to determine consumers' price indices. Unions must practice internal democracy. Union leaders must also imbibe the spirit of selflessness. Management must learn to work with unions and get them involved in this journey. The National Assembly is sleeping. They must wake up to their oversight function by ensuring that the ministry implements or recommend the implementation of wage.
Thank you so much, Professor Oghara, for that wonderful presentation. Please, let's put our hands together for him again. While the presentation was going on, some persons, important personalities walked into the hall, and we don't want them to go back unrecognized. We want to especially recognize the presence of Rear Admiral O.M. Lotu, head of the Navy Logistics Oghara here. We also have with us Commodore A.O. Ajobi. We have Commodore B.A. Mateke. We have Commodore A.J. Shegu. We also have SLT ES Olawumi. We have TT We also have Abig Suleiman, and we have Y. Mohammed. Please let's put our hands together for them. We also have the old boys of Inaugural Conception College in the city here to celebrate with one of theirs. They are many here, trying out the meeting to read their names. I want to say that you are all welcome. Thank you so much for coming around. We also want to recommend the presence of Mr. Tony Amolo, which the guest lecturer was mentioning from time to time. He's also present here in the meeting. We also have Musa Karimu Humphrey, Karimu Musa Angela Akbovuna, AOA, also in the house. Let's put our hands together for them. We equally have the number one personality of Extra West local government here, Right Honorable Nancy Osu, is present here with us. We have Professor Moses Adagibiri. He's also here in the house. Now we also have the representative of the TPO Oghara here, represented by Precious Ian. Time may not permit us to read all the names here, but I want to say that you are all welcome. God bless you for attending. Now quickly we want to go to the next item of the program. We have the presentation of the inaugural lecture to the Vice Chancellor by the inaugural lecturer, Professor Oghara.
I present to you the inaugural lecture for today entitled Man Necessary Triad Relationship by Professor Unsavory.
Okay, at the same time, we want to, it's already here. We want the Vice Chancellor to decorate with a medal the inaugural lecturer who has just presented the lecture to us. Please.
Our Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council, member of the Governing Council here present in the Necessary, heads of our strategic partners that are here present, Chairman of the local government, Flag Officer Commanding Nigerian Navy, family of the distinguished inaugural lecturer. Just a few comments and then I will decorate the inaugural lecturer. Inaugural lecturer has spent a good part of his life researching on labor and the relationship with government and management. And he has told us his findings. There's no trust, no confidence between the parties. There's a relationship of suspicion. There's a relationship not just of suspicion, but of conflict that have dominated the entire history of management labor relations in Nigeria. We are all familiar. Many of us, we have siblings, we have children, we have brothers and sisters and relations who are grown now because of the strike, ASU strike that is almost in the 6th month. And well, that's why it's going to be the private university. By the first week, at the end of the first week of August, that's next month, we'll be concluding the academic session. And by the first week of 2nd of October, we shall be commencing another session. So we don't have this conflict. It's not that these conflicts are not there, but they are better managed such that there's peace, such that there's stability, such that there's progress in the private institutions. Because of time, I will not summarize the lecture. I will just invite the inaugural lecturer here for the decoration. Please, can the immediate family join the inaugural lecturer? Immediate family of the inaugural lecturer, please.
We want to take a group photograph here with the Vice Chancellor and the immediate family, please. Please just stand in front here. Very quickly, please. While we are preparing for that, let's also invite the HODs. The HODs. For time's sake, we may take that photograph outside. Okay? We want to thank everyone that has graced this occasion. We say thank you so much for coming. Our amiable Pro-Chancellor, we thank you, sir. The Navy Command, we thank you. The police, the immediate family, the school, and everybody that is gathered here on this first inaugural lecture. We say big thank you to you. God bless you. Please, let's rise up as we take the national anthem. Please, the national anthem.
Please, we want to.
A law student of this wonderful institution. Regard to the lecture that our professor have just delivered shows that the relationship between the government and the union has failed. The primary aim of establishing unions to bring relationship cohesion to deliver a good governance to the masses has totally failed. But what we need to do now is to restructure Nigerians, to know who to be given the power to lead the people. When you look at the union today, some of those people that were given privilege to lead the union, they are not there to represent the masses, but rather to represent their selfish interests. But initially when they were taking the oath of office, they were taking the oath of office to represent the interests of the masses, not an individual's interest. But as it is now, based on what is happening in Nigeria, which we hope to have delivered democracy to the masses, democracy has been kidnapped from Nigeria and cabacracy has been given to Nigeria in return.
The government has failed. The government has failed the union. And from what Professor Kaka just said, union have started long ago. And if government have not failed, union would have climbed to the level. Look at what is happening in the ASU. Today, the ASU, our colleagues have been at home, those of them in public school have been at home, over agitation of the union. And we all know we have different unions in Nigeria. And for ASU who have been at home for almost a year, it's actually a fact, it's make the government fail totally. So as for me, the government should pay more attention to the union, because with the union, that is where you have almost, that is where you communicate to the government. So that is it.
Okay, talking about injustice by the unions emitting their demands, do you think injustice action, strike, should be the first option for unions?
Not really. There should be, first of all, a negotiation with the government first. I believe the ASU has gone into negotiation, series of negotiations, Pretoria one. before this action strike. And I'm also appealing to the ASU to temper justice with mercy, because it is, if you look at this government that has failed, our colleagues will remain at home. And like what I said in the ROTV early this week, that so many of our students have been killed, some of them have got pregnant, some of them have been forced into marriage, some of them have been frustrated out of academic life. So to me, I'm also calling on the union to look at this next generation, because this generation that will suffer for it. Because if this generation is not properly shaped, it will affect the next generation. Thank you.
Accurately, the lecture is hard and timely, and it is high level of wickedness that the federal government has demonstrated towards our students who have been at home for a very long time. Considered for almost about a year now, when I was deputy coordinator of National Association of Nigeria Students, I was the one who raised that struggle, calling of protest in Abuja and Minister of Higher Education to date. Even as I speak to you now, the national president of NAS has also called on federal government. They have met with the APC chief tank, which is Chief Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday, and in order for them to discuss further how our children can live and their houses to the institution. It is really, really, really sad seeing our children have been sitting at home for a very long time. The federal government has demonstrating up and down with foreign currencies and all that. When it comes to politics and election, they will show interest, but when it comes to our education, they don't show interest. They are playing with our life. When we are growing up, they say education is the future, education is the key. So on this note, I am calling on the federal government, appealing to them, let them look into this issue, come to the rescue of the students, let them come back to school, because their student calendar has been elongated. So in a situation, a student that's supposed to graduate for 3 years is now graduating for like 5 years, paying an extra rent and all that. So it is really, really uncalled for. So federal government should do something about it. Thank you.
Apt and appropriate at a time like this. And you did mention the three tripartites, industrial relations, union, management and government. And mostly you said so much about the development and how far the union have contributed. I would want you, sir, to highlight on the contributions of union in industrial relations as far as...
Like I mentioned in that lecture, the union has contributed in no small way. Even in pre-colonial times. Imagine when we had unions regulating the trade, like the guild trade of bronze casters, the hunter associations. And then coming to colonial times, when we were fighting for independence, the union leaders were even selected among those that went to London to negotiate for independence. After independence, the union became a force to reckon with. Whenever you had cases of oppression, they stood up immediately. I cited instances in my lecture. This time, for example, of the 1992 election, presidential election that was annulled. That election was regarded as the freest and also one that the international committee accepted. Yet it was annulled. The union came out immediately and protested. When the refineries were sold, the unions came out and protested. So the unions has become a life for the common man. And because of that, the government itself is in position to be used as a tool for development to develop this country further.
Yes, sir. You did mention some of the roles of unions is to negotiate with government management in meeting to the welfare of their workers.
Yes.
And you mentioned some of the measures through which they can do that. And industrial action happened to be the last resort.
Yes.
But over time in Nigeria, we happen to see that industrial action actually is the first before any other thing. What would be your advice to union and government in trying to meet in negotiations?
For years, has it yielded the result? Every year, unions go on strike. ASU have been on strike for 6 months. So the question is strike the answer? So unions must also have internal democracy. They must learn to follow the processes. There are laid down processes for handling grievances. Union must first of all ensure that all of them are explored and exhausted before doing that. Government on its part must ensure that when agreements are reached, like Ukem always said, agreement is agreement. When agreements are reached, they must ensure that they are what? They are implemented. And that is why the supervising industries come in. For example, the legislator, the National Assembly. We have a supervising legislators from Federal Ministry of Labour and Productivity. What are they doing? They should find out what agreements have been reached. What stage are there for the implementation of this agreement? Are there things impeding the implementation of this agreement? All of this will help. Then it's a journalists, the press can also come in by reminding all stakeholders of the agreement on a regular basis. Documentaries can be aired on agreements are reached. What is the progress so far? What has been done? What can be done to make sure that these agreements are implemented? All of this will help us have a very standard industrial relations system where everybody will have confidence in the system, where people will be willing to submit themselves to the system.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
So we also want to get the book